Good evening, folks, and it's time for another installment of Wednesday Night Racing at the Dick Lane Velodrome. First race of the night is the Group 3 Scratch Race. That's Pete Wicker, Pierre Roux, Amelia Hicks, and Sophie Zintz. The group stayed pretty well together up until the bell lap. Pierre Roux made a seated attack all the way to the finish line, securing first place. This kept Amelia Hicks holding off Sophie Zintz for second place. Not a bad way to warm up the night. Next up is the Group 2 10-lap scratch race. That's points on every place. That's 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Rudy Kiefer takes charge of the pace, making sure that no one makes any moves too early. Notice Stefan Boland's paying careful attention to who he's leading out. And with 2 to go, Stefan takes off. Something tells me that soon to the sprint, no one's going to let him get away with it. With 1 to go, we see the group is together. And Leah Genus is keeping a careful eye over her shoulder as she leads everyone to the line. First place for her. Good job. Next up is the Group 2 10-lap scratch race. That's 11 riders in the field. Points run 6 deep. And you can see Reese Latham is the one to get this race started tonight. Although it's an audacious move to start from the front, Reese is pretty calm, cool, and collective. Something tells me he's not planning on putting himself all the way out there. And with Reese back in the mix, we see Daniel Brewer charging up the race. There's an attempt to make a break. It's Daniel Brewer, Nick Leonard, Emery Hancock, and Jonathan Agee off the front there. And here comes Nick Leonard leading up for 2 to go. And with the bell ring, Daniel leading it out, checking to make sure there's no attacks on his way in. That's Daniel Brewer, followed by Nick Leonard and Emery Hancock, and then Jonathan Agee in fourth. Group 3's the second scratch race of the night.
Perfect, guys. Good job.
This evening's Group 3 field is Pete Wicker, Pierre Roux, and Sophie Zintz. And with the bell lap, Pierre Roux leads out Sophie Zintz. It looks like it's going to be a close one. And Pierre gets it by maybe half a wheel. Next up is the Group 2 win and out. This race is interesting. Once the bell rings, the first person across the line gets first place, but second place has to sprint for the next lap. And then third place has to sprint for the lap after that. The tough part of this race is if you're gunning for first place, for example, and you miss it, then you got to gun for second place, and that means you're sprinting for twice as long. And with the ring of the bell, we see Rudy Kiefer setting his sights on first place this evening. Incoming hot, we see Stefan Boland taking first place. That's Leah Genus now going for second. Leah gets second, and that leaves Rudy for third. And there's Rudy. You best believe Rudy had to work the most for this race. Next is the Group 1 win and out. Same rules as before. That's 11 racers in the field. Points actually run 6 deep, but the sprints are only for first, second, and third. Fourth, fifth, and sixth being the riders that come in behind third place.
Thank you. You riders in the back, you got a whole lap to catch up. Riders, roll off. You just show up. Starting in 4.
That's Daryl Christopher at the front of the field. Notice in the back, you see Reese Latham and Daniel Brewer. And with 2 to go, we see the pace starting to pick up. And with the bell ring, we see Daryl going full gas. He wants this bad. But Jonathan Agee's got a strong sprint, and he manages to get first place. With Daryl Christopher gassed, we see Nick Leonard and Julian Roux aiming for second place. That's Julian gets second. And now Nick is gassed, and that's Daniel Brewer and Reese Latham going for third and fourth. And now it's Group 3 doing the 15-lap snowball race. where with whatever lap it is, that's how many points that first place gets for first place and no other. Pete picks up some early points in the race. I think he gets 6 overall. And then Sophie goes off the front for a handful of points until Pierre picks her back up, and then they exchange some back and forth. Pierre Roux got 83 points overall, getting a lot of the late race laps. Sophie Zintz got 31 points, and Pete Wicker got the 6 points. That's your first, second, and third for the night. Next up is the Group 2 15-lap snowball. Same as before. Whatever lap it is, that's how many points that lap is worth for just first place. The majority of the race, the points were handed around by Leah Ginnis, Stefan Bolin, and Rudy Kiefer. That was Leah Ginnis getting 65 points, Stefan Bolin getting 27 points, and Rudy Kiefer getting 15 points. That's Kathleen Laporte alongside Leah Ginnis trying to get in on some of the action.
That's why I didn't call it camping.
Late in the game, Aaron Freeman went for a sprint, and he managed to get 13 points. That secured his 4th place. And on the 14th lap, Leah picked up those 14 points, leading out Rudy Kiefer. With an exchange in 3 and 4, Leah comes back around and just barely misses first place on the final sprint. All right, it's the last snowball of the night. It's the Group 1 15-lap snowball.
Roll off.
Things usually stay pretty well behaved for these first low-point sprints. Whatever's convenient, someone will go for it as long as it doesn't take too much effort. There's Reese getting 2 points. And then by about 3rd sprint, you see some action. There's Julian Roux. Looks like he decided to go off the front for another 4 points. And the field is not going to let him get too far away as the laps get more valuable. Julian picks up another and another. It's a pretty good tally so far. Everyone seems to be just eyeing him, waiting for a move. And Nick Leonard makes the move. They've caught Julian, and now he's breaking off the front. Willing to bet that's Daniel behind him, not letting him get too far away. And then Daniel makes his move. That's Reese behind him. He's going to try to get as far away as he can. Daniel picked up a handful of laps, and now Emery is finally caught up and exchanging for a lap. That gave Daniel just enough recovery to go off the front. Keeping an eye on his shoulder, he's going to try to ride this thing all the way to the finish line. And Daniel shows superior form, getting the last 29 points in those most valuable laps. And this is the last Group 2 race of the night. That's a 30 laps points race. Points run 4 deep for each sprint. That's sprints every 10 laps, which is every 2 miles. Points are 5, 3, 2, and 1. On the first sprint, we see Stefan Bolin heading the charge, with Kathleen Laporte perfectly placed for the lead-out. Sprint, we see Leah Ginnis going toe-to-toe with Stefan Bolin for the sprint. And she picks up 5 points. Everyone's recollecting and looking for the next move. On the second bell, we see Leah leading out Stefan. Leah's pretty new to track, and she's doing very well. I'm expecting we'll see her move up into the A's pretty soon. And with the final sprint bell, we see Stefan leading it out. And it looks like Aaron saved it up for the final sprint of the race. With 13 points overall, that earns him 2nd place. Last race of the night is the Group 1 50 laps points race. That's 10-mile race, sprint every 2 miles. And that's Chance Davison pacing the field. Looks pretty conservative so far. But wait, Nick Leonard sneaks out for first place. That's 5 points on him. So overall, been pretty well behaved so far. And then Chad Conley is getting crazy on the bell. Second place, that's Daniel on the front. Daniel keeps it hot. Looks like he's gonna make a break, but then he decides to play conservative. But then Daryl drives up the pace and causes a break with 4 other riders. Looks like Daniel, Nick, and Emery. Looks like Daryl was exhausted at the bell. That means Daniel's leading it out. He's got Emery in tow. And there's Nick. And Nick snags second place from Emery. Looks like they're catching fragments of the field as they're going around. It looks like Emery has fallen off, and now it's Daniel, Nick, and Max Ostrick who they've lapped and caught up with. And Daniel lunges after another 5 points. And now Max is picking up points, so he's going to hang on as long as he can on this. Looks like they've caught up to Emery now, who fell off earlier. And that means all the sprint points can be had in this group right here for the final sprint. And here comes what's Daniel's signature move, the attack at 2 or 3 laps to go, and he puts it all out there. Not really giving anyone a chance to even contest that first place that he wants. He's easily doing over 30 miles an hour right now. Has been for last mile. Max gets the final second place. Good job, Max. Just a heads up, if you like what you see and you want to support it, show up and grab a camera. Contact me on the email, let me know. Let's make Atlanta cycling awesome.